Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Tim Gong, President of Software Department of Huawei Consumer Business Group. Distinguished guests and developer friends, good afternoon. Thank you, Richard, for depicting a smart and all-connected future and vision. I'm going to spend half an hour to talk about how are we going to build a foundation for an all-connected world. First, let's recap the development of Harmony OS. Huawei released Harmony OS in 2019. Very soon, Harmony OS were made available on Huawei Vision TV, smartwatches, and IoT devices. On June 2nd this year, we released Harmony OS 2. In a short span of 100 days, the number of Harmony OS users have exceeded 100 million, making Harmony OS the OS that breaks the record. There are three features for Harmony OS. It is an operating system for all connected world. The first feature is one OS for all devices. The core technology behind such feature is the modularized decoupling of the operating system. You may ask why other operating systems cannot support this feature. Be it Windows or Linux, they all have a history of more than 30 years, maybe older than many of you. The architecture decoupling for such an operating system would be even more complicated than building a new operating system from scratch. The second unique feature of Harmony OS is to enable hardware capability sharing to form a super device. This way, the hardware resources of different devices can be better leveraged. The super device feature is warmly received by consumers. A third feature is very important for developers. I used to be an engineer and developer. I had an experience of over 20 years of development. When I was an engineer, I wanted to realize one-time development for multi-device deployment. However, this was not made a reality back then because you will need to change the development ideology, method, and tools. Today, I'm going to spend many of my time on how we realize one-time development for multi-device deployment. Here is the results of Harmony OS 2. They are more than 150 million Harmony OS 2 users. Most i1+ 8 devices from Huawei now run Harmony OS. And there will be more important products that will run Harmony OS. Please stay tuned. Control panel is a very cool feature loved by many consumers. In the past, two adjacent devices cannot or are difficult to communicate to each other. Why is that? Because they run different operating systems. It is difficult for them to communicate to each other when they run on different operating systems. With Harmony OS super device feature, you only need to drag and drop to form a super device. Isn't that cool? Harmony OS home screen is the most intriguing feature, and it's also one of the features that are warmly received by consumers. Service widgets and smart folders are the interesting features, so that a boring person like me are really fond of it. security and privacy protection are the top concerns of consumers. In the past, a phone was installed with a lot of applications. This might create some risks or hazards for security of our devices, and the system may get slower and slower. The pure mode of HarmonyOS helped to solve this problem. During a National Day holiday, I had a trip with my mother, and my mom told me that pure mode was the feature that she loves most. HarmonyOS 2 is not an end, it's just a new starting point in our journey. We are going to continue our innovations in the 3 key features of HarmonyOS. First, let's look at the enhancement we made in One OS for all devices. We mentioned that from the beginning of the HarmonyOS design, we use a modularized design concept. This way, different modules can be splitted. But how to converge different modules? Many technological problems should be solved. We offer an automatic elastic deployment tool. How do we support that? Let me give you an example. Take earphones. It is a simple device. It only requires 4 modules, including a lightweight microkernel, a Wi-Fi module, a media playback module, and audio module. You only need to take these 4 modules and converge them to form a HarmonyOS for the earphones. You may also ask for a smart vehicle, which is a heavyweight device. How are you going to form a HarmonyOS for this device or equipment? Can it be that simple and flexible? For example, for the smart cockpit system, security and reliability are the tall demand. The microkernel can help to meet that requirements. The microkernel is the first ever microkernel to obtain the CCEAL 5+ and ISO certificate. It is the most secure microkernel. We're able to ensure deterministic latency, high reliability, and airtight security. Plus the 3D image engine. With such a simple combination, you are able to form a HarmonyOS for the smart cockpit system. So this is the HarmonyOS for smart cockpit. It offers upgraded experience that is much better than what can be offered by traditional head unit. There are 2 pain points with traditional head units. First, the traditional head unit is like an information silo. It could not communicate with other devices, or it is difficult for it to communicate with other devices. Maybe some of your friends may drive a car worth 1 million or 2 million, but they still use their phones for navigation. Why is that? Because the traditional head unit could not offer a satisfying experience, while HarmonyOS can offer a simplified and efficient experience, which is way better than a traditional head unit. And another pain point is ecosystem. They were only limited applications. Applications are not updated, and experience brought by such applications were not that satisfactory. HarmonyOS offers a digital base or foundation and offers an all-connected ecosystem so that developers can easily migrate from mobile ecosystem to the smart cockpit ecosystem, which is a market that with a value of over $2 trillion. And you do not need to choose between the 2 ecosystems. You can actually tap the 2 ecosystems. This way, developers can enjoy more opportunities in a bigger market. So this is the automated elastic deployment tool we offer to developers. We will also contribute this in the open source project so that non-Huawei devices can also use this tool. Next, I'd like to talk about the innovations we made in super device. Harmony OS 2 allows two devices to connect and share capabilities. In the future, or with the new Harmony OS, we are going to support heterogeneous networking to support a greater range of devices. And through collaborative perception and intelligent scheduling, we're able to further boost the performance of heterogeneous networking and secure greater projection stability. When we compare Harmony OS 2 and Harmony OS 3, the performance is lifted by 50% and projection stability can be improved by 100%. The previous mentioned features may sound abstract and difficult to understand. I'd like to give you a few demos that have been made possible in our labs. Those are really cool demos. If you are interested, you can go to our booth to experience those demos. First is that you can enable the collaboration between a phone and a Vision TV so that the visual experience can be fundamentally improved with Harmony OS 2. But there is more. If you happen to have Sound X smart speakers with outstanding sound performance, maybe you will think about, is it possible to connect the smart speakers and the Vision TV to form a home theater with 5.1 channels. This way, you will be able to enjoy a cinematic viewing experience with only your phone at home. This can be made a reality, and it relies on the topology networking and the global soft clock synchronization at sub-millisecond level so that the latency can be substantially reduced. And there is also more. In order to fine-tune the speaker, you may need professional engineers in a cinema, but this can be handed over to Harmony OS. Through the automatic sensing technology of the space, we are able to optimize the sound field to generate a cinematic viewing experience. Harmony OS 2 already supports the collaboration between phone, tablet, and PC for smart office. In the future, we hope to incorporate more devices for collaborative office. And we hope that you can just move your mouse freely across different devices and the keyboard will follow. This way, all the connected devices can be controlled with the same set of mouse and keyboard. This way, you will be able to really improve the office efficiency with a super device system. This is a demo that could be beneficial to gamers and gaming developers. We often play mobile games. In Harmony OS 2, phones can be collaborated with a device with a large display for an immersive experience. But that is not enough because there is still a bottleneck remains unsolved. That is the GPU and rendering capabilities of a phone is limited. So our engineer proposed the idea of leveraging the discrete graphic cards from PC for rendering. This way, the gaming experience can be substantially improved. With distributed collaborative computing, the performance can be fundamentally enhanced. This is a demo that we have made a reality in our lab. You can also experience by yourself. The frame rate is improved by 2 times, resolution is improved by over 3 times, and you can even play the game for a longer time. Distributed data management is an important feature we provide through the distributed soft bus. The distributed paste board allows you to copy from one device and paste to another in a seamless way. Security is a top concern in the super device system. So we will provide a security visibility or visualization capability so that you can easily see the status of a super device. This is conducive for both consumers and developers. The enhanced features will be made available to you in Q1 2022, and we hope you can try all these features on your own. Now, I'd like to talk about how developers can develop one set of code to be deployed across multiple devices to realize this dream of many engineers. Traditionally, applications are developed by device. This means developers will need to develop applications for different types of devices. Those applications are silos. And cross-device connection and interaction cannot be supported, and continuous service providing across devices cannot be supported. HarmonyOS is a user-centered, scenario-specific services. It can support one-time development for multi-device deployment, direct service access with no installation required, and seamless service continuity between devices. Developers are not afraid of doing challenging tasks. What we are afraid is to repeat tedious work in a low-efficient way. HarmonyOS provides a set of code program. We decoupled the code logic and data and UI. So if we are to develop applications for different types of devices, the business logic and data can be shared. And you only need to do a simple UI adaptation so that you can just develop one time for multi-device deployment. To make one-time development for multi-device deployment possible, having the concept is not enough. So we also provide a whole set of development suites. Those are like weapons for you. HarmonyOS team is a team that provides weapons for you. We hope we can not only provide you traditional weapons, but also nuclear weapons, so that you can further improve the competitiveness of your apps. Such weapon suites include HarmonyOS Design System, Arc UI, Arc Compiler, DevEcho Studio, and SDK. Now let's look at the HarmonyOS Design System. There are 3 key philosophies for HarmonyOS Design System. First, all-in-one. We built up a foundation or a unique operating system for different types of devices. All devices can speak in the same language, have the same design style, and consistent experience. At the same time, we know that the world is composed of different individual objects, and different devices are different. Take man-machine interaction as an example. We tap to interact with phones, and we use mouse and keyboard to interact with a PC. And for a smart cockpit system, because for the sake of security, voice command is very important to interact. So we want to set aside the difference of different devices and ensure harmonious coexistence. In an all-connected world, we can see faster development. Every day there are new products and applications being brought to the market. So we hope this operating system can be scalable. So this is the Harmony OS design system. You can see the details of animation, color, and human factor research. Those are the modules making up of the design system. Take human factor research. It's the foundation for the design. For different devices, there will be different font size. We work with Tsinghua University and Zhejiang University to establish the Human Factor Research Lab to translate the research results into Harmony OS design, specifications, principles, tools, and resources. To give you a simple example, this is the Adaptive UX Framework plugin. With this plugin, the service widgets can adapt itself to be deployed across different devices based on the screen size. With the release of Harmony OS 2.0, more and more outstanding developers and designers participate in the Harmony OS ecosystem. And thank you for your support.
Next, I'd like to share with you the Arc UI, our development framework. The Arc UI 3.0 will soon be released. It is the industry's first one to be designed for cross-device app development. One distinct characteristic of this framework is declarative UI framework, which is 30% more efficient than the traditional imperative UI frameworks. When developers choose the framework, there are three important aspects. The first, efficient development. So we provide declarative development to improve the efficiency. Second, the device performance. Also an important aspect to developers, especially large app development with high performance. Through flattened unified rendering and a parallel pipeline, we improve the performance and reduce the memory footprint. In terms of language ecosystem maturity, which is also an important aspect of consideration for developers, we also cover that. Let me give you two examples. First, the photo sorting and browsing. Using Android View, an imperative framework, to develop such an app, you can see there is still a large amount of code that looks quite complex. However, using the Arc UI, a declarative framework, we save over 50% of code. Another example, a great example, is cross-device development. In this case, data binding between a phone and a watch jointly for navigation function. What we need is the data binding between the mobile phone and the watch. Using imperative framework, you see there are a lot of lines of code needed. However, using the declarative AI Arc UI, we just need a few lines of code, and we need 70% less code in total. So the Arc UI can improve the development efficiency. In terms of device performance, we made comparisons with other mainstream development frameworks in the industry. Take a heavy load app, a gallery app development. In terms of code start time, the Arc UI compared with Flutter is 59% faster. In terms of the grid page sliding memory, ArcUI has a 67% smaller memory footprint than Flutter. For the complex animation frame rate, which is critical for a large app development, the ArcUI has 49% higher frame rate than Flutter. So high performance is also a distinct characteristic of the ArcUI. The next important aspect is ArcUI supports JS and TS. Because JS is the most popular coding language, it has very shallow learning curve. JS has mature third-party libraries and the largest number of developers around the world. That's also one of the reasons why we choose JS, because we really want to deliver a great experience to all developers. Next, let me share with you the Arc Compiler 3.0. The Arc Compiler 3.0 focuses on one thing, which is one-time compilation for multi-device deployment. We do that through two core technologies. First, the self-designed Arc Compiler bytecode provides standard distribution format independent from programming languages and devices. The second, Arc Compiler Runtime, offers a broad range of execution modes that covers AOT, JIT, and interpreter. Because different applications have different requirements on resources, and different devices provide different hardware resources. So how are we going to offer good scheduling? That is an important mission of the compiler. Next, let me talk about our IDE, DevEcho Studio. Developers deal with IDE on a daily basis. So the DevEcho Studio 3.0 that we release focuses on one thing, which is cross-device app development efficiency. From coding to debugging and testing, we support cross-device development capability. So during development, consideration can be given to multi-device project, supporting phones, tablets, and head units deployment. In this way, components can realize self-adaptation on different devices. During the deployment, one project can be deployed on multiple real devices. So one project can be developed across different devices. In terms of cross-device debugging, which remained a challenge to developers, we are going to realize visualized debugging so that developers have a very good idea of the cross-device service hopping, and that is the mission of the DevEcho Studio 3.0. As you can see, our IDE realizes excellent cross-device collaborative debugging. In terms of cross-device integration testing, which also raises challenge to developers, the traditional approach is single-device testing first, and then scenario-specific multi-device testing. However, our IDE supports one-time cross-device integration testing. So cloud-based cross-device app testing can be done with just a click. Lastly, let me share with you our HarmonyOS SDK. The HarmonyOS team offers Arsenal to the developers. So SDK and APIs are the best weapons in that arsenal. On top of HarmonyOS 2, this year we will add 6,000 plus APIs, covering distributed capabilities such as super device and declarative UI. On top of that, we will keep making efforts and keep innovating to provide even better development suites and tools to the developers. Let me share with you two cases. The first, Sina News. CNN News made their app accessible on a diverse range of devices while only developing once, covering phones, watches, among others. Wish, a popular music channel in the Philippines, realized one development for deployment on multiple devices for a seamless flow of your favorite tunes. The Harmony OS is growing by leaps and bounds and be joined by an increasing number of developers and partners. I want to thank you all for your contribution. After today's event, you'll be able to realize our comprehensive portfolio, and we'll keep releasing even more powerful development kits and tools to you. In the end, let me make a brief summary. We will focus on consistent development for multiple devices and a super device concept. We will provide basic Harmony OS capabilities and tools to support that objective.